What's up, Raider Nation? The Bat Fry, Kenny Fry here. Coming up on this episode of the Silver and Black Lair Las Vegas Raiders edition. I'll be taking a look back at the Raiders' loss last week to the Denver Broncos. And also, I'll be taking a look ahead to today's game coming up here in about 45 minutes against the Kansas City Chiefs. All that and much more. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. And get the ring baloney out and ready to roll. I'll be right back. What's up, Raider Nation? Welcome to the Silver and Black Lair. I'm your host, the Bat Fry, Kenny Fry, and we got the glare rolling. Look at the glare up there. Holy cow, look at it. It's killing me. I'm trying to move the thing to try to block it out. It's not working. So maybe if I move my screen a little bit, that'll work. Hey, that makes it a little bit better, but glare is killing me. All right. So anyway, back to what we're here for, a little bit of Raider talk before today's game. So I'm just going to kick right into it. If this is your first time checking it out, thank you for checking it out. Give me a follow on the on X at SB_Lair_OOTBE. Once again, on X, it's at SB_Lair_OOTBE. Or you can check me out on Out of the Box Sports at OOTBox Sports. That's on YouTube and X, and also on Facebook at Out of the Box Sports Entertainment. So give us a like, follow, subscribe. My YouTube channel as well is right here at the Batcave_OOTBSE. That's my personal YouTube channel. I'll throw that out there again a little bit later on. But anyway, getting back to why we're here. Raiders against Broncos last week, and another tough loss. And I mean, I don't know. I felt like the Raiders played well. The offense looked better again. I did like some of the play calling. It was more inventive, a little bit more exciting to watch than what it was before. They are moving the ball, but again, it's a problem that's been haunting us for the last few seasons. Is we can get down to close to the red zone or in the red zone, and we cannot put the ball across the goal line. We just can't do it. It just field goal after field goal, and it's extremely frustrating. It really is. And, but it is what it is right now. That's all we can kind of go with. It's a bummer, but and for those that want the Raiders to keep tanking, I guess you're celebrating. I am not a fan of the tanking. I explained last week as to why. I went over all the Raiders' recent draft picks since 2004. I think I brought it back to all the first round draft picks that were bust. And I don't remember the exact number, but there was a lot of them. There was a lot of busts. And, and some of the ones that weren't busts were traded away a couple years later for one reason or another, and extremely frustrating, very frustrating. So it's not a guarantee even when you're tanking, but I don't think the Raiders are tanking. I just think they're bad. They're not a very good team. And that's where we're at. That's just what we have to deal with the rest of the season. And if we do get the top pick or the second overall pick, hopefully there's a good quarterback there that turns out to be our franchise quarterback. If not, we're going to be in the same damn situation next year and the year after and the year after and the year after. And I don't know where to go from there. You're not going to win football games in this league without that franchise quarterback. You're just not. I mean, that might have flown in the past, a la the Baltimore Ravens with Ray Lewis and that insane defense there. Doing it, what was it, Trent Dilfer, I guess. Doing with Trent Dilfer, and he wasn't. He was far from a franchise quarterback. He was just somebody that was there to not turn the ball over, not screw the game up. And they're winning games, with field goals and maybe one touchdown a game, not scoring many points. They're doing it with defense, but you just can't do it anymore. Different time, different rules, different makeup of the game. You have to be able to put points up no matter what. Yeah, the old adage, defense wins championships, I think still applies to a point. You're not going to get a defense uh, that week in and week out will be able to pitch shutouts or hold teams, 12 points and below, just field goals every week. You have to be able to put points up. You have to be able to score 20 plus points. And our offense is not there. And our defense isn't, right now where it needs to be to even be thought of as that caliber type of defense. Last year, good defense, very good defense. We thought this year maybe a step forward in the defense, and it's been three or four steps back. And yeah, it all started with injuries, Malcolm Kuntz, and this, that, and the other. So it is what it is. Just gotta keep pushing, and like I say each and every week with the monikers of just win baby and commitment to excellence, and you know how much it frustrates me to hear those lines spat out there week after week by people, just win baby, and then they say tank in the same sentence. It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. So then they're also starting with the just tank baby. So that makes a little bit more sense, I guess. So anyway, so injuries last week in our secondary really proved pretty big, which we thought they would. Injuries to uh, Jacorian Bennett, Nate Hobbs, guys like that. Jack Jones, he was banged up as well. It was just too much to overcome. Eventually, Bo Nix, he started able to push the ball down the field. They're picking on DeCam Richardson a lot, the rookie cornerback who was filling in. He made some decent plays. You got to give him some credit. But also they're picking on him. He did have some guys that were open. Too much of a cushion a couple times. I'm trying to remember if he was flagged at all. I really don't recall if he was flagged at all for any kind of pass interference, but it was what it was. I think that's the best we can do uh, with what we have right now. Bennett being out, Hobbs being out, and I think they're both on IR if I remember correctly. So they're going to be out for a few weeks, at least four. Jack Jones, as far as I know, he's still going to play today, and again, he's banged up. Isaiah Palomau, he'll be out there. Um, who else we got? DeCam Richardson, um, Trayvon Merrick, all those guys, Sam Webb, they'll all be out there, and we'll see if the secondary is able to step up. A banged up secondary step up against Patrick Mahomes, but against the Broncos, held up okay for a little bit, but then eventually it seemed like Bo Nix was able to get on a little bit of a roll and start moving the ball down the field. But you'll give a ton of credit to our defensive lines, linebackers did a great job against the run again. Back-to-back weeks where they held a team to under 100 yards rushing. This week, 22 carries, 63 yards rushing. A hell of a job there. Mad Max, I feel like this was his best game in weeks. The high ankle sprain and stuff like that, I really affected him. Maybe he's starting to heal up from that. But he has not been Max Crosby that we need him to be, and he's not been Max Crosby that we've gotten the last couple seasons. He's been a shell of himself, and this was the first game where I felt like, that felt like a Max Crosby that we come to expect. He was in the backfield a lot, making some great tackles behind the line of scrimmage, and doing a hell of a job. He did lose containment a couple times, which is a Max thing. He's been doing that over the last couple of years. I brought it up a couple times on the show about him not holding containment on the outside. He wants to get in that backfield and disrupt everything, but teams can take advantage of that. So, but yeah, he did a great job. Tyree Wilson, he had a pretty decent game as well. A couple tackles for losses, and also had a sack, our only sack of the game. That's it's a tough pill to swallow. We need sacks. We cannot run the ball. Sincere McCormick, he had a decent game. Not many carries. But I think it was like 6 carries for like 33 yards or something like that. But he did well when he had the opportunity. So I would expect to see him a little bit more today. Maybe we'll see. We'll see what happens with the running back room if Alexander Madison's able to go today or not. If not, we'll have blank. That's where we're at. We're blanking right now. But Sincere McCormick. Who else do we have? I can't think of his name now. But anyway, but I'd like to see McCormick get some more carries. I'd like to see McCormick get some more carries and see what he can do because nobody else is doing anything. Zamir White's out today against the Chiefs, so so we'll see what happens. Minshew, he didn't look bad. He didn't look bad last week for the most part. The one thing I was noticing watching him play, he really got a ton of happy feet. He dropped back. The feet are going, feet are going, feet are going, and there's no pressure. The pocket is forming. It's collapsing a little bit, but it's not. He looks a lot more worried about getting hit than what was happening. It seemed like the offensive line was holding up fairly well. They did end up giving him five sacks, but I wouldn't say all five were on them. There was a couple times where the pocket was around him, and instead of just stepping into the throw, he decided to try to tuck and run, and he just run into the offensive line. A couple times it seemed like there was a decent pocket forming, and just collapses. He just freaks out and tries to run, and he gets sacked. I don't know. I'm watching like just step up and throw. Like it looked to me like he had a good pocket around him. And again, it was closing a little bit, but I feel like a good quarterback's going to step into that, make the throw, and make the play. But you know, I get it. He's been sacked a ton this season, so that could be part of the reason why uh, get happy feet like that. He ended up 25 of 42 for 230 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. And the one interception, he was throwing the ball, and he got his arm hit, and he wasn't able to follow through, and the ball just sailed on him, which understandable. You call that sack on the offensive line, I believe, anyway. So, and the offensive line again, it's an offensive line that's been shuffled around and moved around due to injuries, poor play, this, that, and the other. Last week we had Colton Miller, Jordan Meredith, Jackson Powers Johnson at center, Dylan Parham, and then DJ Glaze off there on the right. And they look good at times, and there's the times where they got blown up pretty good. Again, without being able to run the ball, though, you know it's it's not good. You have to be able to run the ball. You have to establish the run, and in order to pass it sometimes. Now, it's not all the time. If one of those teams with a franchise quarterback, you can establish the pass to open up the run. And I believe that. I believe that with a good quarterback, a good franchise type quarterback. He's your leader. He's the guy that everybody worries about. He can create the run with his pass. But if you have a middle of the road quarterback, he's not going to be able to establish the pass enough to open up the run. It's just not. They're not worried about him. They're not scared of him. Patrick Mahomes, case in point, uh, the the fact that he's a franchise quarterback, he's really the best quarterback in the league. That scares a team enough that they put a lot of their focus on him, and that opens up the run. I do believe that the Chiefs will have Isaiah Pacheco back today, so uh, that's another guy for the Raiders to watch. And but somebody like Gardner Minshew, he doesn't scare anybody, in the passing game where you have to say, okay, we got to watch Minshew's, passing game, and then you lose focus on the run. No, it's not. You can equally prepare for both. It's just not. He's not scary enough to make you nervous about the pass. None of our quarterbacks are, and that's something we need. We need to change, and hopefully this this off season, whether through the draft or through free agency or trade, or I don't know what's going to be available. We'll see what happens if we're able to fix this quarterback position or not. It's been a problem for quite a while. When Derek Carr was here, I feel like it was a little bit more steady, it was more established, and apparently he was not our savior. So I know there's a lot of Derek Carr haters. There's also a lot of Derek Carr fans out there. I'm a Derek Carr fan, but he hasn't been all that great for New Orleans either. So I don't know. All right, so moving on from that, Denver did a great job bottling up Brock Bowers, and but that also led to big time opportunities for for Myers. Myers had 10 catches, 121 yards. Jacoby Myers. So he had a great game. Bowers only 4 for 38, 10 targets. So they're throwing to him. He was being mugged. He was absolutely being mugged. Brock Bowers was. Broncos were all over him. They did a good job. They really did. They did a good job. You got to give credit where credit's due. I hate the Donkeys, but you know, I tip my cap to that. They did a hell of a job bottling them up. Nobody else has been able to do that all season, especially recently. He's been super hot. And Jacoby Myers, really, really showing out. 10 catches, like I said, 121 yards. Trey Tucker had a pretty good game, 7 catches, 82 yards. And I still can't think of his freaking name, our running back. I just can't think of it. It's pissing me off. But he also had a few catches out of the backfield as well. Dylan Laib, or Lobby, however you want to say it. He had a nice return, a kickoff return in the first quarter after the Broncos kicked a field goal, a 59-yard return. No carries from him. I thought we were going to see Lobby a little bit that game. We had a couple carries, but nothing. So yeah. So maybe I doubt we see him again today. I guess we'll have to see if Madison's back or not. I know he was questionable, and we'll see if he goes. So looking at the team stats for that game, Raiders lost to Broncos 29-19. First downs, the Raiders had more first downs, 21 to Broncos 19. Third down conversions, the Broncos were 6 of 15. The Raiders were 4 of 14. So it was a little bit better this time than the week before against the Dolphins. The Raiders were able to do a little bit better against Denver, but still 6 of 15. That's too much. That's too good. Where are we at? The Raiders were 2 for 2 on fourth downs. Plays, Raiders had 74 plays compared to Denver's 65. Again, 74 plays. We got to put the ball in the end zone. Desmond Ridder, after Minshew hurt, broke his clavicle there in the fourth. Desmond Ridder came in. He fumbled the ball away right away. He didn't look all that great. So, nobody thought that Desmond Ridder was going to be our savior, but we were hoping for a little bit better, to be honest with you. So yards wise, went to the Raiders 369 to 325. Drives, Raiders had 12 drives to the Broncos 11. Passing yards, Raiders had 300 passing yards to the Broncos 262. Rush, the Raiders had more rushing yards, 69 to 63. The yards per carry, Raiders averaged 4.3 yards per carry, and Broncos 2.9. Like I said, the Raiders defense did a hell of a job against that rushing game from the Broncos. Penalties, Broncos 6 for 58, Raiders 4 for 44. But the 2 turnovers, again, killer. The interception, the fumble, an interception by Minshew and the fumble by Ridder. We weren't able to create any turnovers. So, that hurts. And time of possession. Broncos had the ball for 31 minutes and 11 seconds. Raiders 28 minutes and 49 seconds. So close, but you figure we had how many more plays? 9 more plays than what the Broncos did. 1 more drive than the Broncos did, more yards, and they still were able to control the time of possession. So that in a nutshell, the Raiders played all right. It was close for the most part. I think it was 19-16 in the fourth quarter at one point, and Broncos were able to pull away and put the Raiders away. And another losing streak the Broncos were able to snap. They had, I think, a 4-game losing streak with the Raiders at home. So the Broncos were off the schneid. They sweep the season series, which makes me sick to my stomach because I hate the Broncos very much. And that's that. So we'll move on to the Raiders and Chiefs. That's all I have to say about that, right? Black Friday football. There we go. Black Friday football. And the Raiders have to be a part of it. And I think the NFL missed out on this a little bit. They had an opportunity with a Black Friday football to have a Raider game and have it at the Raider Stadium. It's all black and the silver and black. You have a black hole there on a Black Friday, but no, it's in Kansas City. Doesn't make sense. It makes sense the Raiders are a part of it, but does not make sense that it's not in Las Vegas. In the Legion Stadium, which black, the black. It's like they really missed out on an opportunity there, the black hole and stuff like that on Black Friday. But We'll see going forward if next year if they decide to do something like that and have it in Las Vegas and because you can't say well the home crowd or whatever you want to have it in front of the Kansas City home crowd. I guarantee you, especially this season, Kansas that probably the stadium probably would have been 75% Kansas City anyway. The stadium would have been 75% Kansas City anyway, so it's not like I wouldn't have it in Kansas City because of the crowd. Well, the crowd would have went to Las Vegas anyway. The Raiders fans are selling their tickets off like in droves there. So I got a comment here real quick. Robbie Kelly checking in. This is being a Broncos fan. It was a fun game as usual. Good to the end. Good to end that streak. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, man, I'm super bummed that the Raiders did not get Bo Nix. It is somebody when I did the draft talk last season, that was my top quarterback was Bo Nix. And especially if the Raiders were going to stay at 13, I thought there was a chance that he might drop. And there was so many different experts, Robbie, that were saying that Bo Nix was going to drop, into the 20s and stuff. Like, holy crap! And for the Broncos to pick him one pick before the Raiders, it's like, oh man. But he's really turned out to be a good one so far. So far, I mean, it is his first season. Who knows what he's going to be moving forward? But my one buddy at work, Guy Ebert, he's a Broncos fan, and I tip my cap to them. As much as I dislike, it's nothing against Bronco fans or anything like that, Robbie. It's just I'm a Raiders fan, and I feel like there's if you're a sports fan, across multiple sports or just one sport or whatever, there's always that one team that you despise. You could hate you can hate all the teams in your division, but there's that one team where it takes it to the next level. Like for me in baseball, I'm a Mets fan. I do the Bat Cave, and I talk Mets baseball. Well, for me, it's the Braves. I hate the Braves. I despise the Braves. I hate the Phillies as well, but the Braves take it to another level. I'm also an LA Kings fan. Uh, the Oilers. I hate the Oilers. And they're not. I guess no. I guess yeah. We are in the same division. We're in the Pacific Division. But I despise the Oilers. I hate the Ducks. I hate the Canucks and the Sharks and all them guys. The Flames. But the Oilers just really boil my blood. Even over the last three seasons, the Kings were knocked out of the playoffs by the Oilers in the first round. Even before that, I've hated the Oilers, and I don't know if that's some sort of deep seated, like that's where Wayne Gretzky started his career before he went to LA. If that's something like that, but whatever it is, it's been since that long. I've disliked the Edmonton Oilers, and it'll continue. It'll continue. They had douchebag Draisaitl now, and you know Darnell Nurse and guys like that. I don't. Connor McDavid's fantastic. I can't hate on him too much. Uh, I respect Connor McDavid, but screw everybody else there. So, uh, like I hate the Chiefs and the Chargers, but the Raiders are a whole different level. Yeah, so you understand where I'm coming from, and it's nothing against the Broncos fans. It's I think of Broncos, I think of old horseface John Elway, and how much he's killed my team over the years, and it goes on from there to Jake Plummer. He killed the Raiders a couple times, and multitude of other quarterbacks killed the Raiders. That were only there for one season or two seasons. Guys that weren't there that often. And then goes to Peyton Manning just destroying the Raiders. It's like, oh my God, it's the year in and year out. I can't handle it. But the Raiders were on a nice little run there against the Broncos, and it was hunky dory for me. And I said it like one of the first shows I ever did on the Out of the Box Sports here. I used to do a show with my boy, Vegas Rob there. And it was called the Las Vegas Sports Scene at that time before I started doing this show by myself. But I said to Rob, I said the Raiders can go at this time. There was only 16 games in a season. So the Raiders can go 2-14. As long as those two wins are against the Broncos, I'll be happy. And now I don't want the Raiders to go 2-14, which we're well on our way to going there this year, 2-15. Now it's 17-game season. But that's just how much I hate the Broncos. If we're only going to win two games in a season, I'd prefer those two games to be against the Broncos, the health, all the other games. But yeah, I just despise. And you think I'd hate the Chiefs for as much as they win now and all the winning they've done. They keep winning the division. It's hard to get past them, and they're snot nose. I really despise Travis Kelce. I do, and this is even before the whole Taylor Swift thing. I have nothing against Taylor Swift. Kudos to Taylor Swift. She grew up, just 20 miles, 30 miles from me. So, I'm fine. I'm not a Swiftie, but I have nothing against Taylor Swift. I just don't like Travis Kelsey. I really don't like Travis Kelsey, but that's it for the Chiefs. I'm a huge fan of Andy Reid, and not a big fan of Patrick Mahomes. But besides that, it's the Broncos. I just don't like the Broncos. It's never been anything personal. It's just sports every year. When the schedule comes out, I always look for the Raiders games, and that's exactly, Robbie. I always look for those Bronco games. Are the first thing I look for, and see where they're at. See, when's the home, when's the away. I hate when the aways, late in the season where it's going to be super ass cold in Denver. I know my team's going to fold because it's cold. Although the one year it was snowing in Denver, I don't remember how long ago it was, but I believe the Raiders trounced the Broncos there in Denver. I can't remember the exact score, but I think we put up 50 some points. I think it was snowing. I don't remember exactly. I'm getting old. I have a poor memory, Robbie. I don't know if you can tell that. And Robbie also says, I'm definitely a Raider fan today, though. I think a lot of people are Raider fans today. So there's a lot of people out there that don't like the Chiefs, either for football reasons or other. They're going to show Taylor Swift 100 times. I don't care who the hell they showed her. I'm watching football. I don't care who they talk about. It doesn't matter to me at all. They can show Taylor Swift every other shot. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. She's a pretty lady, too. Easy on the eyes, whatever. That doesn't matter to me. All right, so moving on from that, Raiders at Chiefs, Black Friday thing. The Chiefs' last home loss was against the Raiders, and Aiden O'Connell, who makes his triumphant return back to the Las Vegas Raiders starting lineup at quarterback. Good for Aiden. He's probably shaking his head and wondering how he can get out of this, but he's there. And but the Chiefs' last home loss was to the Raiders last Christmas, and Aiden O'Connell was the quarterback, and the Raiders did have two defensive touchdowns. And I think we had a field goal also to beat the Chiefs. I don't remember the exact score. I think it was 20-14, but I could be wrong. And I want to say, I can't remember 100%, but I think that the second half, the Raiders didn't have a first down outside of the first quarter, like the whole second quarter, second half, no first downs. But we just controlled it. Didn't make any mistakes on offense. The defense was controlling the game, and I'm guessing that the powers that be last year saw that, and they figured, all right, let's just roll with it. Like, be super conservative on offense and let the defense do its thing. Well, that's not them this year. Defense is banged up. Defense is not playing well, and defense is not controlling anybody. So, although there was glimmers of hope last week against the Broncos, like I said, with Mad Max playing as well as he did last week. I thought Tyree Wilson looked well. The Raiders played the run game well. So we'll see if they can carry that over. Isaiah Pacheco, like I said, he returns for the Chiefs. So that's a big return for them. And I said AOC, he returns for us. And the Chiefs, that's the other thing I wanted to cover. I'm looking through my notes here, trying to remember what I wanted to do. There we go. Guy, I don't know if this is my boy Guy or not. I don't know if this is Guy from work. I assume it is. But 2010, Oakland 59, Denver 14. And that's when I was thinking of. I didn't realize it was that long ago. Jesus, Christmas, I am getting old. That 14 years ago. Oh, my God. Bones hurt. Jesus. That is a long time ago. But I believe it was snowing during that game. I'm almost positive it was. And it is. All right. Hey, Guy, what's up, brother? So yeah, a couple Broncos fans checking out the Raider podcast. How about that? Yeah. Hold hands and we'll sing fairy tales, maybe do some Humpty Dumpty stuff or whatever. I don't know. But the Chiefs, anyway, the Chiefs have not it was in October. Huh. Yeah, for some reason I remember snow. That could be just me getting old. The Chiefs have not been blowing anybody out. 8 of their 10 wins have come by 7 points or less. I wrote down the point totals: 7 points, 7 points. They won by 1 point, 5 points, 7 points, 6 points, 2 points, 3 points. So they're not going out there and they're not dominating games. They're stuck in a whole bunch of close games, and they're 2 wins that weren't by a touchdown or less. One was 10 points. The other one, I think, was 13 points. So they're not going out there. They're not grabbing these games by the balls and just control them. Their games are all close games. And so that you're going to be in it. And with this being a Friday game, I liken this to the Thursday night games. So those the Thursday night football, there is some wonky stuff on Thursday night football. Like you don't know what to expect. You could have a team that's a double digit underdog go out there and win a game. You just never know. So yeah, it's you don't know what could happen today. Today's a good game to watch. Like I said, the Chiefs aren't some sort of offensive dynamo where they're just taking teams and throttling them and really blowing them out. They're putting up some decent points. 25 plus point games. 30-point games, but they're not going out there and just absolutely destroying teams. And when the Raiders and the Chiefs played each other back in October, it was a 27-20 Chiefs win. The Raiders did have a touchdown with like 2 minutes to go to make it 27-20, but still, there was an opportunity where, with an onside kick or turnover, they could have gotten the ball back and, tied the game up. So, the Raiders were in that game. It was a close game at half. I don't remember the exact score at half, but the Chiefs didn't actually pull ahead a little bit until I believe it was the fourth quarter. So for the Raiders, looking at the injury list, Nate Hobbs, I mentioned earlier, he's going to be out. Zamir White's going to be out. Alexander Madison, he's questionable. Like I said earlier, Amir Abdullah, he was the number one running back last week. I couldn't remember his name earlier. I looked it up while I was talking before. So Amir Abdullah, he was the number one running back last week. Didn't really look all that great running the ball, catching the ball, did a great job. But besides that, Sincere McCormick, I thought he carried the ball very well. I think it was like 6 carries for 33 yards. He did a good job. And I thought we would have saw Lobby, but it didn't. Dylan Labe, whatever the hell you want to call him. Dylan. 90210 Dylan. Ja'Cory Bennett, he's on the injured reserve, so he's out for at least 4 weeks. Gardner Minshew, he'll be out the rest of the season with a broken clavicle or collarbone, whatever. Andre James is expected to return, and I guess looks like he's going to start at center, which surprises the hell out of me. We're talking about continuity in the offensive line. So the same offensive line started 2 weeks in a row, and I thought they didn't play bad. I thought they improved a little bit last week against the Broncos, and now Andre James is going to return, and they're going to throw him back at center and mix everything back up, and there goes any sort of continuity they had over the last 2 weeks. So it doesn't make sense to me. If you want Jackson Powers Johnson to be your center, for the love of Christ, put him at center. And I keep hearing from all these Raiders experts that have either inside information or they cover the team a lot better than I do. I'm over here in Pennsylvania. They're all the way out there in Las Vegas, so I'm not getting all sorts of information. I just read stuff, and I listen to a ton of other podcasts to see what they're saying about it. But all these other experts are saying that Jackson Powers Johnson is the future Raiders center. Well, the future is now, if you ask me. The future is now. Put the guy at center. That's where he buttered his bread in college. That's where he was best at college. Put him at center now. What do you have to lose? If you have to move Andre James to guard. If you're worried about Jordan Meredith or Dylan Parham not being up to snuff or being banged up or whatever, I do believe that Andre James was drafted and he played offensive tackle in college. I read that somewhere. So he's flexible. Move him somewhere else. Put Jackson Powers Johnson, leave him at center, and go from there. If you're going to have the rookie DJ Glaze at tackle, leave him at tackle the rest of the season. Colton Miller at left tackle, Parham at right guard, and then if you want somebody else at left guard, if it's not going to be Jordan Meredith, put Andre James there, or Cody Whitehair. I think he's back. Somebody. I just don't understand why you're talking about building continuity. You finally get a little bit of continuity, and then you just want to rip it apart. It doesn't make sense to me. So looking at the secondary, like I said, Nate Hobbs is out, Ja'Cory Bennett. So we're looking at Sam Webb starting there. D-Cam Richardson, the rookie, looks like he's going to get another start. Like I said, he was targeted a lot against Denver. I expect Patrick Mahomes and those guys to target D-Cam Richardson a lot. Today as well. Jack Jones, he's a little bit banged up. I do believe he's going to play. Trayvon Merrick and Isaiah Polamau. Polamau, I thought he's been playing pretty well as well. Trayvon Merrick, he's solid. And Jack Jones, he was the poster child last year for the Raiders defense in the second half of the season after the firing of McDummie. And he was our poster child when the Raiders picked him up, and he started making plays, and the pick six against Patrick Mahomes, and the waving at him when he's running by or whatever it was, and that was kind of our rally cry last season, and has not been there this season. He has not. He's had some good games. He's had some really bad games. He's been called out, and but now he's banged up. So I don't know what kind of Jack Jones we're going to get today. If we're going to see him a whole lot or not. How bad are his injuries? We'll have to wait and see. I'm not really sure, but I do expect him to play. I just can't see him missing a game against Patrick Mahomes. That seems to be something that he thrives on. That big matchup. The big time franchise quarterback, best quarterback in the league, and he wants to be that guy at cornerback. Well, this is the game that you want to show out in, right? National audience on Amazon Prime, which is garbage if you ask me. The stuff like this should not be on Amazon Prime, or if it's going to be on Amazon Prime, it should also be live to a national television network audience, not a national television audience. The whole Prime thing is stupid nonsense, and it pisses me off. It really does. But I'll watch it on Dofu. I do Dofu Sports. If you don't know what that is, go ahead and look that up on your Apple store or your iTunes store or whatever the hell it is, and or your Play Store on Samsung's. On Samsung, it's just an app, and you can watch games, basically for free that you couldn't watch. I watch all my LA Kings content on that basically, and although I am thinking about doing the bundle with the Disney Plus, the ESPN Plus, and the Hulu Plus, or whatever the hell it is. I do that bundle. That way I just watch it on ESPN Plus, but you watch games on Dofu and not have to worry about it. Once in a while, the stream does kind of glitch a little bit. You have to back out of it and open it back up, but still it's free. So you can't argue with it. It is what it is. So keys for victory for the Raiders today over the Chiefs. Don't let Kansas City convert those goddamn third downs. The last time they played the Chiefs were 12 of 16 on converting third downs. And that's awful. That is absolutely awful. And got to do better. Have to do better. They got to do at least half of that. They have to do at least half. No more than 6 first downs on third downs. They got to do better. And you're looking at Max Crosby. When is Max going to make that big sack? When is Max going to make that big play? And that's something we always kind of counted on Khalil Mack for. If you guys remember back, if you're a Raider fan, you remember back when Khalil Mack was with the Raiders, he always just seemed to come up with a big strip sack or whatever when it was really needed. On a big third down, like a third down and 6 or a third down and 3 or whatever, the quarterback drops back, he come up with a big sack or a big hurry or a rush, and it kind of forced the ball. We need Max to do that. He has not done that at all this season. He hasn't had that signature moment this season at all. And we know how he really takes it to another level against the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. So here's his opportunity. Let's see what kind of Mad Max we get today, and if he can force the issue here against the Chiefs. No turnovers. You cannot be turning the ball over. Aiden O'Connell first start back in the last 4 weeks, and he has to protect the ball. He has to protect the ball, and we have to get turnovers. We have to create turnovers like we did last season. We scored 14 points off Chiefs turnovers. One was a pick six, and there was a fumble recovery from this defensive tackle. I can't think of his name right now. Who ran the ball in? I think it was Adam Butler got the strip sack on it, and was it Matthew Butler ran it in? Maybe, I don't remember. We got to be able to run the ball today. Got to run the ball, control the clock, control the down and distance. We can't be going out there with 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 10s, 3rd and 11s. Can't hurt ourselves with penalties. We got to get it to 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 2s, 3rd and manageables, they call it. That's another thing. Have to do a good job protecting Aiden O'Connell. First game back since being injured. Injured his thumb. So he's not an escape artist. I feel like he does move well. He doesn't get enough credit for how well he does move in the pocket. He's able to move side to side. He does a decent job there, but he's not going to go off and run. He's just not. That's just not who he is. It's not the type of quarterback he is. And when he does, it's kind of funny looking. So if he does, watch for that. It is kind of hilarious to watch him try to escape the pocket and run. It's funny. It is. Be aggressive in the secondary. That for me that means get up in the face of those receivers, challenge those receivers, challenge Kelsey. Get in their faces, make them work. Don't give them that big cushion. That decam was given the Broncos receivers last week. Get up in their faces and make them work. Uh, and focus on the rush. Let's make it 3 games in a row where we hold the team under 100 yards rushing. Like I said, back-to-back games, holding the team below 100 yards. Let's continue that trend. They've been doing much better at that. Linebackers have been playing very good. Divine Diablo. AJ Cole had a big pass last week, a punt fake, hit Divine Diablo. I kind of gave me a little bit of hope. Maybe today's our day here against the Ponies, against the Denver Donkeys, but no, it was not. It was not to be. But anyway, uh, yeah, let's control that ground game, stop the rush, make them pass the ball, and then make those plays in the secondary. Be aggressive. Make small windows. Make small windows for Mahomes. Make him put it in those small spaces. We know he can. Keep him in the pocket. Don't let him get out of the pocket and make plays with his feet. He's not a big runner, but he can do it. We've seen him do it over the seasons. Break the pocket, run for a first down, or just running man coverage. Everybody's out with somebody. He breaks the pocket and runs for 20 yards without being touched. We've seen it so many different times. It's very frustrating. Control that pocket. Pursue the ball. Tackle well. We can't have missed tackles or broken tackles. You just can't do it. The first guy got to get the ball carrier down, whether it's receiver, running back, quarterback, whatever. Don't go looking for that highlight tackle. Basically, is what it is. Make the tackle. Make the textbook tackle, get the guy down, go to the next play. So those are my keys to victory. So if I'm going to give a prediction, my prediction as a podcaster, not as a homer, then I'll give you my homer prediction. My prediction being straight down the line. I think the Chiefs win this game. I think it's going to be 27-17. Chiefs win. And but I think the Raiders play well. And I think it's closer than what the score indicates. Now, if I'm a homer, which I am, you see the Raiders crap right here, right? It makes me so mad every time I look, commitment to excellence, and it pisses me off. I look, it's God damn it. But anyway, as a homer, I like the Raiders to win. Let's go 20-19. Why not, right? Why not? As a homer. But like I said, 27-17 as a non-biased member of the media. Why not, right? Why not? So, all right. So that's all I have for today. Before I get out of here, I just want to let you guys know, if you can, if you cannot, I understand. But if you can, go to www.w.gg, help a brother out. Use the promo code The Batcave. That's W Energy Drink. They have some really good energy drinks there. They sell them by the can. They have tubs of powdered energy drink with a little scoop in it, a little scoop, and it's all natural. It's a clean energy drink. That's what they base themselves off of Jitterless energy drink as well. Sometimes if you drink too much of an energy drink, if you have yourself a Monster or a Red Bull, like, oh my God, I feel like you're gonna have a heart attack. This is not what this is. You feel that little bit of a boost, and you don't get the jitters from it, which is fantastic. That's one of the reasons why I stopped drinking Monsters and stopped with the Red Bull and Jägermeisters was because of the jitters. I wanted to get drunk, but I didn't want the jitters with it. But when I drink Monsters when I used to work at the One Steel factory, I would drink a decent amount of Monsters, and telling you what, every time I'd get the jitters, and I just didn't like the way I felt. So I stopped drinking energy drinks altogether and just stuck with coffee. But W energy drink, I don't get the jitters from. So I'm down with W. So check them out. They have a whole wide variety of products, shakers. They have hydration powders as well. Hydration packets. Some good flavors there. They're also running a Black Friday sale. I'm not sure what the code for that is. So if you don't want to help me out, but you want to try W Energy Drink, go ahead and check them out. www.w.gg. And I'm sure the Black Friday code will be there for 40% off. But if you want to help me out, like I said, it's only 10% off. I get it. But use that promo code, The Batcave. That's all one word. and help me out. All right. Get that off of there. And of course, we have our boy, Jason Fine, Jay Fine Law. If this is your first time checking it out, this is our longtime sponsor here. Jason Fine, attorney, Big Al. You reach Big Al at 1-800-HURT-123. That's 1-800-HURT-123. Jason Fine specializes in motor vehicle accidents, slip and fall, workman's comp, and personal injury claims. He has 3 office locations conveniently located throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey. His office in New Jersey is located in Cherry Hill on 3 Greensward Lane. The phone number there is 856-209-5258. And he has 2 offices in Pennsylvania, one in Pittsburgh, which is located on 500 Grant Street, Suite 2900. The phone number there is 412-365-8151. And his other office is in Philadelphia on 1628 JFK Boulevard, Suite 2120. And the phone number there is 267-888-2980. Jason Fine, attorney Big Al. You got to let him know that Out of the Box Sports sent you, and he'll hook you up with a great deal. So once again, thank you everybody for checking the show out. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I'll be back next week with the recap of this game and looking ahead to the following week's game. And but until then, I'll talk to you guys later. I'll be watching the Raiders game. I think on my laptop, and on my phone, I'll have the Kings game. The Kings start at 3:30, so I'll be watching that. Do we have the freeway match up there? The Kings at Anaheim Ducks. So we got to kick the Ducks' ass. Quack, 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 Mr. Ducksworth. Quack, 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 Mr. Ducksworth. You know, the Mighty Ducks movie. I don't know if you know. But anyway, all right. So that's all I have. And remember, as much as it's hard to say for me nowadays. It's very hard. But I'm going to say it anyway because I end every show this way. But here we go. Just win, baby. Thank you, everybody.